So, to characterize my experience teaching FYE, I want to situate it in a broader context, and that would be working first with the other faculty members that I worked with made it very challenging and interesting. It was enjoyable, so it wasn't challenging in this sense.
Why don't you start with introducing yourself?
Oh, sorry. My name is Jackie Coomes. I'm in the math department, faculty in the math department. And so working with these other faculty in other sectors really made me think carefully about how I teach math and why I teach it the way I do, and helped me to understand a particular topic of uncertainty from different perspectives and how we could relate, help students understand different disciplinary approaches to thinking about the same thing. So,
and what was your sequence?
Our sequence was truth, lies, and uncertainty. So the book that we used was by Jordan Ellenberg, and it's called How Not to Be Wrong, and it has a lot of math in it, but Jordan takes a perspective on math that is very different from what students were used to in high school, and they repeatedly expressed how surprised they were that what we were talking about was mathematics. And one of my major goals in that course was to help them see all of things that they care about in real life, you know, social contexts and the like, as very mathematical. So how do we study what's happening with people and subgroups of people in this country from a mathematical point of view, and then understanding statistics, at least to an extent where they have a basic understanding of how numbers are arrived at and what they could actually mean, and the uncertainty in all of that. So what should EW faculty know? That it is a bit of work, it is challenging, but it's more rewarding than challenging. And the challenges come from really thinking through how you're going to teach something to all freshmen. I think most of us have taught courses that have a lot of freshmen, but to contain all freshmen. And I taught them in the first quarter that they were here, and there were a lot of misconceptions about what college is and expectations. So I think something that I could do a lot better the next time I teach it is to be clearer about the expectations and give lots of feedback to help them rise to those expectations. I think that's a key component of first year experience courses. Even though the focus is still on the content, we do that within content and help them. And I think one of the more rewarding aspects too was really building those relationships with students, so they looked to me to answer a lot of questions, and they were very comfortable asking first year student questions in the class because everybody had the same confusions. So what advice would I give? I don't know if I'm in a position to give advice yet. I look at it as an experiment and know that things won't go perfectly. We put a lot of work, my two colleagues and I put a lot of work into thinking through this sequence and what students needed, and we had a lot of help from the boot camp and other meetings beforehand about what students needed. We read literature on what students needed, and we tried to build all that in. Of course, when I taught it, it was only a 3-credit course, and fitting all of that into a 3-credit course coherently and meaningfully, doing any of it really well, is pretty difficult. So we had to make some choices there. But I had my two colleagues to bounce ideas with, and now I have feedback on how these students have done the next quarter and the quarter after based on what I taught them, and that feedback is really helping me plan for next year. The best parts of teaching the FYE have been, there are several best parts. One is collaborating with my two colleagues across campus has been very rewarding. It's really helped me look at my own practice of teaching and helped me to better realize where I can improve. Another great part of teaching the FYE is maintaining the relationships with students past the first quarter. So I worked hard to build those relationships among students in the first quarter, but also, and to build a real sense of community in the classroom, but also between us, so that we did things in the, outside of class. We did a couple of co-curricular activities in the first quarter and a couple in the second quarter, and we're actually going to have a barbecue next week. And they really look forward to those. They're very excited about those. We haven't spent very much money doing it, but it's been fun for